Hi guys, this is Daniel Alexander Cannon here on Logic Before Authority, and I'm gonna take you into this and talk to you about this, and I'm gonna expose what's going on here. Possibility of several things going on here, but for sure one thing. But before I take you into that, I'm going to take you into a few photos of these new fancy devices that are being installed everywhere. This one person, thank you very much, you know who you are, sent some photos into me of around her area where they're putting, and this is in Orange County, okay, and these guys right here that are being installed. You know what those are? They're the next generation of radiation transmission. And these are the things that I am most concerned with out of everything that's going on. These are the things that mostly concern me. Because if you've seen the documentary that I did called Operation Radiation, which is still available, all you got to do is search it, and you will find it. And it goes into the history of the invention of radiation transmission. Now, why am I calling it radiation transmission? Some of you know. Because when radio was first invented, it was called radiation transmission. Because what these towers radiate is radiation, okay? And it's on a frequency wave that is in a millimeter bandwidth range. You know, millimeter, microwave, it's a microwave range. It's the same frequency bands that your microwave in your house that you cook things in, that your mama told you not to stand too close to. Yeah, that. And that's what these things radiate. These are microwaves out in public with no door and with much more power than your microwave. And the amount of evil that is going to be done with these things is incredible. We're going to enter some really tough times, and these towers are going to come into play. This is a different one in her neighborhood. I say her, I think it was a her. Sorry if you're a him. It sent me the photos, but I believe it was a her. These towers are going to come into play by this fall. I highly suspect around October is when things are going to start coming unraveled, and people are not going to understand why what is going on is happening. I'm highly concerned that there will be death involved and people losing their minds and not understanding why. And you got these microwave radiation weapons that are being installed to make them look like trees and everything else ridiculous. And in most cases, or a lot of cases, not most, but in a lot of cases, they're hiding them. Like they'll put one here and then build a wall, put up a thing around this so you can't see it. Out of sight, out of mind. This one's on top of a school. Well, at least that's what it appears. And that's perfect, because the schools are going to play a major role, because while everybody was on the first lockdown, and even now, they're installing all this in the schools. When have you ever in your life seen them close down the indoctrination centers that are the schools? They don't want to do that because they need to mold the minds of the youth. And right now they're not being able to do that as much. But you got to know that for them to not have kids in school, there's something major, a major play going on, a major play that has to do with the schools and the kids. And this is it. This is it. And I surely pray that I'm wrong, but I don't believe I am. Don't believe I am wrong. And I've been warning and warning and warning to get away from these things. If you see these things going up around your neighborhood, around your town, which you're going to, that you should head for the hills. And not that you can completely get away from all this. None of us are going to be able to escape all of this. But you can escape these things being across the street from you and all up and down your road like this on the corner of every street. And I know that sounds nearly impossible for many of you, because I'm in the same boat. I haven't seen these coming up around here yet. I'm watching, but I know they're coming, and they're going to be installing them. And they're paying these people like $100 an hour to do this work, so they don't ask no questions. It's very upsetting for me. So let's talk about these lines. Okay, you can see what this line is about. You know what these lines are about. So I'm not going to use the words. But what I am going to tell you is that we know, at least most of us listening to my voice know, that there's a big scam going on. That this is all manipulated. So what is it that possibly is going on here? Because they're treating this like it's the plague, right? They're putting fear into people's minds to believe that humans could possibly be so infectious that they could kill other humans just by being in the same car with them or in the same vicinity with them. You know, you got to be 6 feet apart, and you got to stand on your X's, which are 6 as well, because the X is the 24th letter of the alphabet, which makes it a 6. And an X is a cube. It is, when you look at a cube inside of a cube, which is the Lucifer's ink that they want to put into the invisible tattoos that they're going to want to try to get everybody to get on their foreheads. So you have your invisible tattoo saying that you've had your jab in your arm. And so, and the shape of that is going to be a cube inside of a cube, which is, in one way you can look at it as an X. And that's the X on the ground. It's a triple X. Just like pornography is triple X. It's 666. And that's why you see when you go into stores that it's 3 X's on the ground. Normally it's always 3. 666. And you stand 6 feet apart. And so they're building all this in, creating all this fear. But what are they really doing here exactly? I mean, what is is there an actual function actually taking place? Are they testing for the CB? No. No, I promise you they're not. They're running a test maybe, but it's not for that. They're testing for something else. One thing they're doing is they're collecting DNA, but I'm more concerned that there's a possibility possibility. Hey, smile for the camera. Let me get to the one here where they're showing the testing. Here we go. There's your biohazard sign, just like you see on the Diamond Princess girl and the iPet goat, where they're showing the CV exploding, right? The I can't breathe scenes. I mean, this looks like something out of the movie Pandemic, don't it? Now they've brought it into real life. And they're putting on a show. These people are paid actors, whether they know it or not. Whether they know it or not. And what I suspect is that a large number of these people in these lines are paid drivers that are participating in making these lines look long, you see. And all they got to do is continue to circle the block and get back in line. And they pay, there's plenty of people, if they were to pay them $40 an hour, they would circle the block and go get back in line and keep circling the block. People will just about do anything for money. Actually, some people will do anything at all for money. So my question right here is, are they taking something out of her nose, or are they putting something in? Because this is going on worldwide, you see. This is happening all over the world, and it would be so extremely easy to infect. I mean, how many tests are they saying they're doing a day? I know they're liars, and probably the number ain't correct, but they're doing a bunch of them. But are they testing for infection, or are they giving infection? Because if you had the right thing put on these swabs, and when you put them up into your sinus cavity, you're nearly defenseless against whatever they're putting in there, especially if it was designed to have its effect the best by going in the sinus cavity. So it's highly concerning that these people are volunteering to get this done. So the elite, the way they look at it is, you know, they didn't have enough sense to not go up there and have this done. So therefore, they volunteered to do it. We didn't make them. So if these people all wind up dead or spreading something that is really bad, it would not surprise me. This reminds me of the photos of Gates doing the immunizations of the little kids, squirting it in their mouths or up their noses. You've seen those photos? And him grinning from ear to ear. It really concerns me these people are being infected. They've went there in fear and in ignorance, and they're being infected. This person's on their knees, allowing it to be done to them. These are sheep being led to the slaughter, and there is a slaughter coming. There is a massive slaughter coming. As the scene from that movie goes, there's a storm coming. And not one of these people have any idea what they're doing. There's a storm coming, and it's going to be ugly. And I want y'all guys to be prepared. I want you to know and be able to separate reality from provoked reality. Separate reality from propagandized reality. I I've been trying to do my best to make sure that y'all guys are there and you understand. There are many thousands of people to hear my voice, and I'm thankful for that. I appreciate you guys. I'm going to let you go. I'll talk with you again later.